Welcome back to Mac Music Review. It's your boy, Mac. And today we're looking at the album Rebel by Lecrae. Here's that sick album cover that I'm mimicking badly. Just another dose of that. Here's the album cover. Rebel is the third Lecrae album, released like a couple years after the music stops. And really, this is like a sister album to Anomaly. Both this album, they have several things in common, two main things in common. Both albums have 15 tracks on them. And both albums are basically talking about the same thing, the main theme of the album. While this album is much more overtly Christian, and you could say preachy and cheesy than Anomaly. Like, he's much more overt about his faith, and much more, just very open about his Christianity and his faith, and more open to talk about God and Jesus and Christianity, all that kind of stuff, than he is on Anomaly. But still, both albums are about being a rebel, about how Christians don't fit into the world around them, and about how the world around them is very different from the world of Christianity and the world and the life a Christian lives, how it's very different from the life a non-Christian lives. Except this album, as the title suggests, rebel can be a noun. An anomaly is a person. You could say that guy's an anomaly. He's weird. He doesn't fit in. A rebel is someone not just who doesn't fit in, but one, it can be a verb. It can say, hey, I want to rebel against what all these other people are doing. I want to actively fight against what other people are doing. And a rebel is also not someone who just doesn't fit in, but someone who chooses to not fit in. Someone who takes a stand against what everyone else is doing, and doing something that's different and radical, and something that could get them made fun of. As in this case, being a Christian, and being very overt about it, about your faith and everything. Features on this thing are very similar to the features on a lot of Lecrae albums, and very similar to the features on After the Music Stops. You have Tadashi on the song Go Hard. You have JR on the song Identity, a frequent Lecrae. Both of these guys frequent Lecrae collaborators. You have Cam on Desperate, who I think was on the song El Shaddai on After the Music Stops. And you also have Trip Lee on Fallback, who was on Jesus Music on After the Music Stops. And Sho Baraka on Live Free, who was on It's Your World on After the Music Stops. So basically all the same guest artists from After the Music Stops, and a few other ones I didn't mention because they're like super obscure. Anyway, is this a good album? What's up with this album? Let's hop into it. The production on this thing is heavily electronic based. The most electronic music production on any Lecrae album is what I can say about this. This album stands out in that way for production. And this is a 2000s rap album, the end of 2000s, so you're almost out of the dark age of rap music. Near the end of, came out almost at the end of the 2000s. Still, electronic music permeates every single song on this, and somehow it's really not annoying. The electronic music on this thing is actually very good. Production-wise, this album sounds really good. You have plenty of tracks on this thing that work really well. There's the Rebel intro, which is really upbeat and energetic, and it sounds really good. You have Identity, which is just so funky. You are moving along. You're dancing with this song because it's so funky and fun. You have Indwelling Sin, which sounds really good. There's a really good immersion of a skit into that one. Beats across this thing are good. Honestly, like, I want to, pinpoint specific stuff, but, the production's good on, basically, Live Free has a really great electronic beat that borders on cringy and cheesy, but it's enjoyable. It's fun. Even if you could say that it's aged badly, but I enjoy it. It sounds good to me. I'm enjoying it. Change has a good one. Beautiful Feet has a really good beat. The Bride. Production on this thing, solid through the whole project. Now, lyrically, this is one of Lecrae's most consistent projects. Lecrae is being very overt about his faith. He's being very just... there's a word I'm looking for and I'm fishing for it and I can't get it. I can't get it exactly. But anyway, he's really, he's going at it, talking about all his faith, talking about problems, and the lyrics on this thing are really good. Like, he talks about a lot of mature content, a lot of different things and problems with the world and a lot of issues within Christian communities. Like on The Bride, he talks about the church, and he talks about how, hey, the church has problems. There's been a history of problems within the church, and people in the church have problems. And he talks about the importance of the church. Beautiful Feet, the last song in this album, talks about the importance of churches and the importance of Christianity and ministry in the hood. Talks about how gangsters need Jesus, basically. Talks about how these kids and teenagers living in the hood really do need the gospel. And he brings some examples of the gospel in the hood and what it's done for it. And that shows another great thing about this album is the storytelling. Lecrae really on these songs tells stories, both his own story and other people's stories. And his delivery and his lyrics are just really good throughout the whole project. So, yeah, this project has really great lyrics, really great storytelling. The presentation of the lyrics. It's not just that the lyrics are good. It's Lecrae's presentation and choosing to go at it from a storytelling angle. And then you have, like, good production on most of these songs. Good lyrics, very good topics addressed. On the song Indwelling Sin, he deals with temptation. And in the opening skit, he's like... it's a great skit. So he's, like, walking through, and, like, this guy's like, hey, bro... You want some of his green? You want some of his weed? He's like, I got some weed for you, bro. And he's like, no, man, I'm good. And this all happens like within a minute. And then this girl's like, hey, man, I can give you a good time. You want to chill with me? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, nah, girl, you're messing with the wrong guy. And she's like, oh, forget you, man. And then he goes into the store and he's like, man, just gotta get me an energy drink. And he's like saying that as this is going on. He's going to the gas station to get an energy drink, like in the hood or whatever. And the guy's like, man, you want this Hennessy, it's gonna go good with that, some Hennessy. And then he goes, man, I got Jesus, I don't need that. And he goes, man, but Hennessy goes good with Jesus. And this is a great song. And so in the song, there's a narrative of like temptation is like talking to him. And so it's his inner temptation and sin inside of him. Because, he believes in, Christians believe the sin is inside of you. You inherently have the sin and it's temptation. It's like, hey man, do this. And sin is talking to him. He's having this conversation. Lecrae plays both parts. And Lecrae is like giving counter arguments. And it's a really interesting, really well performed, good, well produced, really good song. As far as negatives go for this album, Go Hard, the chorus of Go Hard is go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard. Over and over and over again. And Tadashi brings that chorus. And you know what? It's kind of lame. The verses aren't terrible, but the hook is very bad. It's just super repetitive, kind of dumb. I'm a Saint is kind of the same way. It's kind of going, I'm a saint, I'm a saint, I'm a saint, I'm a saint. And there are other lyrics in the hook, but once again, kind of repetitive. Got Paper is just kind of unimpressive. It's just a generally unimpressive song. Like production's not that great. Lyrics, not that great compared to the other stuff on this album. Besides that, and then Don't Waste Your Life is also a more mediocre track. Like the lyrics are good, but the hook is just not as good. The music is not as good. Not bad in either way. The song isn't downright bad. It's just less good. But besides these moments, I think this album is actually kind of great. I really do enjoy it. It can be a little bit cheesy, but this is, once again, kind of like old Christian hip-hop. And for me, this album is very entertaining. It's very enjoyable. The lyrics are good. The production is good. I'm enjoying it a lot. I think it's really good. I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5. Like it or not. This actually does have a reputation of being one of Lecrae's best albums. His albums that are known in the Christian community as being like the best in the Christian hip-hop community. Like people really like Anomaly. But the albums that people really like, the ones that are like the most critically acclaimed are actually this one, Rehab, and Church Close Volume 3. And we're going to be talking about all of those. Well, we'll be talking about Rehab and Church Close Volume 3 is the last Lecrae album I review. I'm not sure what the next one is, actually. But I'm looking forward to it, whatever it is. This is a good album, guys. I mean... It's weird how good this album... It's weird that I'm enjoying this album as much as I do. But honestly, I like the music on this thing, even though most of it is electronic music. I'm liking this production. I'm liking this delivery. I'm liking these lyrics. I'm liking this album a lot. Have a great rest of your day.